And this is why I have floor.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. We have members and then I believe a few guests on here. So welcome to everybody. And you might be watching this as a replay, as a member or a guest. Really quickly, before I turn it over to the wonderful Andy, I just want to mention what Holistix Online is. Welcome to actually Holistic Online's Wellness Studio. This is a 30-minute experience to provide you with either education or some kind of healing wellness tool experience so that you can learn more about said modalities. You can, pick what is working for you and maybe continue on with it. Holistics Online, we are a resource center and a community hub for holistically minded professionals, but also for those who want product services to live a more holistically aligned lifestyle. So we're offering programs for both professionals and seekers. I am Laura Goldstein. I'm briefly hosting today's gathering. So glad to have everybody here, members and guests. I'm going to turn, and we have Giovanni, our micromanager, as always, who shows up to all of these things. I'm going to hand it over to Andy, though, and let her do her thing.
Sounds good. So, for those of you who don't know me or who are watching the replay, my name is Andi Hess. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, clinically trained hypnotherapist. I work mostly with entrepreneurs now. And I thought a lot about what I could offer to a group of holistically minded entrepreneurs that would be, something that we all probably need. And if you've never done hypnosis before, um, it almost doesn't even matter what you do. The process of going into hypnosis and giving your brain that time in that brainwave state actually is most of the therapeutic, modality. But of course, while we're there, it's a learning state, and it's a state that allows us to experience things in a slightly different way. So, um, like I was talking to Camille when we came in today, we spend a lot of time thinking about where we're going next, what we're going to accomplish, what we're going to, how we're going to get there. We spend very little time noticing where we've already arrived. And things that once felt like big goals have a funny way of becoming like normal life almost immediately. You can probably think back to my favorite example is, when you got your first paycheck as like a, 16-year-old or whatever age you started working, and it was, like $100 and you were like, I am rich. And if you got a paycheck for $100 today, you'd probably be like, this is not okay. Right. So these things become our normal, right? But we forget that these were yesterday's vision boards. Um, so I don't want you to choose a specific accomplishment. I don't want you to figure out what you're going to focus on. Your mind can do this. It already knows how to do this, and it'll find whatever's useful. But I called this arrival at ease because I'm going to walk you through simply an opportunity to let something that you've already created or achieved or become register in your body a little bit more fully. And also that begins to make it safe. So when we achieve things, often we don't have the safety that our nervous system needs to feel comfortable to sit with it, to keep it, to hold it. Um, so the intention that I want to set before we go into this. And it's just going to be a hypnosis journey. Please, make yourself comfortable. You can move if you need to. You can scratch if you need to. That's not going to take you out of hypnosis. Do not do this if you're driving. So if you're watching or participating in the replay and you are in a car, please do not do that. Pause it and come back later. So I want to just set the intention today for your brain. Turn this over to your subconscious mind. The question, what am I ready to let myself fully arrive in? All right. So, like I said, go ahead and get comfortable. I'm going to yell at my dogs really quick because they're outside barking. All right. So we'll start with a nice deep breath, deepest breath you've taken all day long, and a nice long exhale, letting go of everything that came before this very moment. And as you settle in now, allow yourself to find that position that feels most comfortable for you, letting your body be supported, your hands resting easily, eyes closing whenever they're ready. And you might begin by simply noticing your breath, natural rhythm of breathing in and breathing out. Maybe there's an allowing or simply a noticing that each breath gets to become a little easier, a little slower as your attention begins to drift inward. And you can notice the place where your body's already beginning to soften. It knows how to do this. And so there's nothing for you to do. Perhaps you can feel it around your eyes or in your jaw. Maybe your shoulders relax. And with every breath out, you can allow that comfortable feeling to spread a little further, down through your arms, through your chest, stomach, your hips and your legs, all the way down to your feet now. Your body supported beneath you. Your mind free to follow along in whatever way feels natural for you. In a moment, I'm going to count down from 5 to 0. And with each number, you can allow yourself to settle a little bit more deeply into this experience, letting the outside world become just a little less important for a while. As your imagination becomes clearer, then your subconscious mind becomes more available to whatever is useful for you today. So starting first at 5, sinking down now, deeper and deeper. At 4, giving your physical body the permission to relax. At 3, perhaps you can imagine what it might feel like to go 10 times more deeply relaxed even than you are now. At 2, almost there. 1, deeper, and deeper still. And 0 is a beautiful deep sleep. And you may begin to notice a space forming around you, a floor beneath your feet, light coming from somewhere nearby, the shapes and details becoming clearer in whatever way feels natural for you. And you realize that you're standing inside a house. It's a house that feels immediately familiar. You know this place. You know where the rooms are, where the most comfortable chair is, how the light changes throughout the day. You don't remember arriving here today because you didn't. You already live here. And maybe you have for quite some time. So allow your mind to create this house in whatever way it wants to, any size, any style, anywhere at all. Simply knowing that this is yours. And then, as you begin walking through it, you start to notice signs of yourself everywhere. Things you chose, things you changed, things you added over time because you've put a lot into this house. You've imagined what it could be and made decisions and solved problems, created something where there used to be nothing at all. And as you walk, you may notice that you're carrying something with you. A set of plans. Perhaps they're rolled beneath your arm or folded in your hands. Something you've carried so naturally for so long that you barely notice the weight anymore. because you've become very good at seeing possibility. You can walk into a room and see what could be better, what could change, what you might add next. And that ability has served you well. In fact, it's part of how you created so much of what surrounds you now. So you continue walking, plans in hand, your eyes moving naturally around this familiar place, until something catches your attention, something you almost walked right past. And you stop, because you remember this. There was a time when this wasn't here, a time when it was only an idea, something you pictured and planned, something you wanted. And now it's simply part of the house. So familiar that you almost forgot you once wished for it. And as you notice that, perhaps your fingers soften slightly around the plans. Your breath releases a little more easily. And then you notice something else. Another part of this house that wasn't always here. Something else you had once imagined before you had it. And then another. And you begin moving a little more slowly now. Because once you start noticing, you see the evidence everywhere. Things that used to be ideas, now surrounding you. Things you once looked forward to, now so familiar you hardly think about them. And somewhere inside, you may even remember the version of you who was still imagining all of this, looking forward, thinking about how good it would be when that thing finally happened, when that change was finally made, when you finally arrived here. And now your feet are already standing on the floor that version of you was trying to reach. Your hands soften a little more and another easy breath moves through you. And as you continue looking around, seeing this familiar house with slightly different eyes, eventually your attention begins to return to the plans you're still holding in your hands. And perhaps now, for the first time in a long time, you actually look at those plans. Really look at them. Maybe you unfold them, smooth them out. Let your eyes move across the lines in the drawings, the notes in the margins, the ideas that once pointed towards someday. And something begins to feel familiar. Because there's that window, the one you just walked past. And here's the room you're standing in. There's that change you noticed down the hall, the detail you had almost forgotten you once wanted. And one by one, you begin recognizing them. The things drawn on these pages are already here. And slowly, perhaps with a little surprise, even with a little amusement, you understand. These aren't plans for the house you're trying to build. These are the plans for the house you're already standing in. And you can let that realization settle in for a moment, looking from the plans to the room around you and back again. Something that was once a drawing on a page is now holding you. Something that once belonged to someday became where you live. And perhaps you notice that some things turned out exactly as you planned, and others changed along the way. Some became even better once you were actually here. Because there were things you couldn't have known from where you started. And somehow you built it anyway. Nearby, you notice a place where these plans can rest. table or a shelf perhaps, maybe a desk, somewhere they can remain completely safe and available. Because there may come a time when you want plans again. There may be something new you want to create. Another room, another idea, another possibility that excites you. And when that happens, you'll know exactly where to find the plans. But for right now, you can put them down. And notice that the moment the plans leave your hands, the weight transfers onto the surface. Your fingers releasing. Perhaps your shoulders soften with them. Your breath releases, long and easy, as your body begins to receive a message you didn't know it might have been waiting for. I'm here. And in the quiet that follows, you may notice something you hadn't noticed before. There's no construction happening here, no hammering in the next room, no saws, no dust, no unfinished floor you have to walk around. This isn't a construction site. This is your home. And maybe you can smile at that as you've been walking through a finished space, still carrying the plans. So now, with empty hands, you begin walking again. And this time your eyes can do something different. Instead of looking for what this house could become, you can experience what it already is. Maybe you find yourself drawn toward a particular room or a comfortable chair, a window with a beautiful view, or a door that opens onto a patio or a garden. Somewhere in this house that feels especially good to you. And you go there, not to inspect it, not to think about it, to use it, to live in it. Maybe you take off your shoes, open a window, pour yourself something you enjoy, sink into the chair or stretch out somewhere comfortable, and allow yourself to be supported by this place you created. Feel what is beneath you. Notice the light, the temperature of the air, the textures around you. All the little details you chose because you knew someday you wanted to live like this. And now someday is here. So let another easy breath move through you. I'm here. And perhaps this is what your mind gets to learn to know. You can be very good at building and very good at living in what you've built. You can imagine what comes next and recognize what has already arrived. There will always be more possibilities, and none of them require you to leave this moment early. So for just a little while, let yourself actually have what you have. Let yourself live where you already live. Let your whole system become familiar with this feeling. An easy breath and the quiet recognition. I'm here. And as you rest here for just another moment, comfortable in this house you've already built, perhaps some part of you begins to recognize that this house was never only a house. Your mind knows how to recognize the things that used to be on your plans, things you once hoped for and worked toward, things you once thought, someday. And somewhere along the way, someday became your life. And your subconscious mind can begin noticing those things more easily now. In the days and weeks ahead, you may find yourself catching them in the middle of an ordinary moment. Maybe something goes right or something gets finished. Something you've been working toward finally happens. Or maybe you simply notice something that's been here for a while and you remember. This used to be on the plans. And when you do, your breath can release and your whole system can remember this feeling. Because there will always be more plans, more ideas, more things you may decide to build. And when you're ready, you know where the plans are. You can pick them up again. You can imagine something new, create something new, move toward something new. And you can also begin to recognize when you've arrived, when someday becomes today. So take one more moment now and look around this house. Notice what you've built. Notice what is already here. And let yourself enjoy being home. In a moment, I'll count you up from 0 to 5. And as you come back to full conscious outer awake life, you'll bring back this feeling, this knowing, refreshed and present, fully alert, bringing this sense of arrival and ease with you. So at 0, shutting the door to the subconscious mind. And then at 1, beginning to bring your awareness back into the room where you're sitting. At 2, inviting the energy to flow back into your body, feeling it move into your arms and your legs. 3 is a deep cleansing breath, a beautiful sense of complete well-being. At 4, eyelids beginning to flutter, and at 5, eyes open, wide awake and back to full awakening consciousness now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, eyes open, wide awake, back to full awakening consciousness. You guys can stay there for just a second. Let yourself breathe and come back. How you feel? Everybody good? Isn't that a great way to start your day?
Yes. Brilliant. Thank you.
Fantastic. I'm so glad. I do this every Monday. It's called the Exhale Room. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that's part of it. But I'll drop in the chat here. If you want to know if you're a peacock or an octopus, you can take the quiz. And if you want to join me on Mondays for one of these every time, there's a special coupon code HXO Holistix Online, and you will get your first month for only $65. And you can do this with me every Monday, as well as get access to my library of more than 130 of these.
Like, code. I was just checking on the code.
Yeah, code is HXO.
Thank you, Andi.
For anybody who doesn't have the chat who's on the replay, it's remixcoach.com/room. Thank you, Joya. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Marisa, you good? Kelly, I can't see you, but hopefully you're good. There you go.
We also put in the link for Holistix Online to learn about our membership. If you're not a member, please check us out. We do events like these all the time. We'd love to have you join us. If you're listening to this, you don't have access to the chat. So that's Holistix with an X, HOLISTIX, online.com. So check us out as well. Excellent. Thank you so much, Andi. We really appreciate you doing this. Thank for everybody who came and attended live. It's great to see you all. Thank you so much. All right. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.
Thank you.
See you
Bye.
next time.